From the On Target Digital Marketing Podcasting Studios in sunny Orlando, Florida, it's the T-Squared Tech Talk Podcast with Tom Jelnick and Tom Craig. It's a Friday afternoon, Tom, and you know what that means.
I certainly do. It means another awesome edition of the T2 Tech Talk Podcast.
And they are all awesome, too, aren't they, Tom?
Not a one of them has been short of just that.
They're not short of anything. In fact, I see you've stocked up the Diet Mountain Dew.
No diet to it, Tom.
Oh, straight up.
It's double the sugar. You know, in fact, if they had a Jolt Cola of Mountain Dew,
That's good stuff.
I'd be right there.
That'll get you jacked.
Yeah. Let's hope.
And look at us with our Dell and our Macs at the table.
It's they're going to be duking it out today. I have a feeling
they are. And if you look around this room, Tom, I want you to see that the Macs have actually kind of overtaken the PCs.
Yeah, well,
if we're being honest.
it's I'm feeling the war. We might have lost the battle, but we're going to win the war.
You think so?
I'm certain.
I'm not sure about
I
all
have
that.
great faith.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah.
And you look very nice today. I don't know what the hell's up with that.
No,
with the
it's,
tie, because I've never seen you.
Tom, I was very adamant when we started the T2 Tech Talk podcast. I said, look, it's great that it's a podcast because I have a face for radio. And then the video came into play.
Yeah, I snuck it in on you. I totally did. That's on me.
The video came into play and had to go hire the stylist.
Yeah.
The public image makeover specialist.
Yeah.
I mean, that team alone almost
that
broke
tie,
the bank.
I mean, let's talk about that tie. It's phenomenal.
Well, it was either this or the dead fish. And it was, I sat there for like a half an hour, but this slightly edged
You
out.
chose wisely, my friend. You look good. You look professional. I look like a slob today.
No, Tom. And the On Target shirt, it just shows expertise.
Well, you made me blush a little bit. Hey, we're live on Facebook today, too, which is another exciting element and depth of our T-Squared Tech Talk podcast.
The more people we can get the message out to, the better, Tom.
It's a beautiful thing, is it not?
I think it is.
So what we love to do here at the T-Squared Tech Talk podcast, Tom, is we break down tech for non-techies.
Well, we try to make it easy for people.
We do.
Yeah,
you know why, Tom?
What?
We're good damn people.
And we want to make other people look like good damn people.
Yeah.
We want to make them the hero.
Not everybody can look as good as you today because they don't have stylists and bouffant. Is that you did the bouffant? Is that what they call it? The thing with the hair?
I tried the mullet, but I don't know what that is. Stylist said we don't do that anymore, sir.
They don't?
Apparently not.
Damn it, man.
And yeah, so
I could see that with a wife beater, maybe. The white shirt.
Now those were my first choices with the dead fish tie.
That'd be nice.
But alas, they
no
lost
dice?
out. Nope. They lost.
So, Tom, a whole bunch of crap went down in tech this week.
It has been a very interesting week.
A roller coaster, some might say.
For myself, it was a lot of peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great week for me. I was at a convention this week with 120, 150 other IT geeks.
Wow, that's a lot of geeks, Tom.
Talking tech. And, when there's that much going on in the room, it's a good time.
Yeah, that sounds like a party for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, did you guys like exchange pocket protectors? What went down?
We did have some tchotchkes to give out. Cisco hats was the big winner this
Sure, I could see that.
Conference. Yeah.
Were they like trucker hats? What were they?
Baseball caps, but honestly, I don't. The majority of these things you give out and end up on the conference table back at work, and for everybody to chime in on. And by the way, I just want to say to Ian out there, Ian, thanks so much for listening. And yes, the tie today is. I got to look good sitting next to Mr. Jelnick here.
Well, and Ian also writes us here on our Facebook Live, commented on your amazing tie, but he also said he noted the color coordination I did with the microphone covers. I just did that today for you, my friend.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah. See, I've got the orange, you've got the blue.
It's Mac PC. There we are again.
Yeah.
Advanced System Solutions on target.
Sure. Yeah, brilliance and then PC. So super cool. Glad everybody's here with us today, Tom. So I'm a little bit embarrassed to have to talk about this week.
I knew when I saw this in the news, I said, I cannot wait for this Friday's edition of the T2 Tech Talk podcast.
I bet you were excited and happy about it, weren't you?
It was almost as excited as the last Apple security flaw that we saw where I had to race home and quickly put that on social media and say, Tom, have you seen this? And
I remember that well.
I'm sure you do. Because, it's far and few between. So I've got to take advantage of these opportunities as they arise.
I think you left skid marks on the way out of here.
That's
I'm pretty
par
sure.
for the course.
I am pretty sure.
Par for the course.
So here's what happened, my friend. I get the phone call from the people at Fox. You know what they want to talk about, Tom?
Technology, which is why they called you.
They did. They wanted to talk to me about the iPhone. And I love the iPhone. Everybody who knows me knows this, even Ian.
Yeah.
The iPhone is my friend.
Oh, I know.
But this week, Tom, it was a little bit too friendly.
A little bit of an embarrassment.
I didn't say that word. Your words.
No?
I said a little bit too friendly.
Yeah, okay.
So here's what went down in a tech nutshell.
All right.
Nut. We always manage to get the word nut in this show.
Kudos to you, my friend.
Yeah, we talked about white balls last week and multicolored balls. We've talked about a variety of nuts.
Floating golf balls for those who didn't tune into last week's
correct.
podcast.
That
like
was
to clarify.
That was a good time. But here's what happened. So a 14-year-old discovered a inconvenient software glitch. We'll use the word glitch, Tom. I'm going to stick with that.
I like how you say inconvenient.
It was inconvenient. It was rather inconvenient for the person on the other end. So here's what happened. This is FaceTime.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, it's Apple's equivalent to like a Facebook Live, only you can call a friend.
Video chat, if you will.
Essentially. So the group feature allows you to call multiple people and multiple friends, Tom. I know you have tons of friends, and maybe you're with your geeks at the geek convention and you want to call them all up. So here's what's going down. If you're calling Mike and he doesn't answer, well, guess what? You can hear everything Mike's doing, and you could actually see everything Mike was doing because of this glitch before Mike hung up on you. So even if he hadn't accepted the call, your phone was jacking his phone, and you were getting to hear everything. So let's say Mike was on the crapper, right? Kersplop, kerplop, flush. He doesn't want to take your call, but you heard it all, Tom.
That's one way to look at it. The other way is Mike's in a board meeting right now.
Right.
And his phone's on mute, you know, as we all try to do before our meetings. And suddenly the whole board meeting is up for everybody who is playing Fortnite at that time in that group to hear.
Right.
So, that's a slight inconvenience. But when I think about it, I think the most inconvenient part was for this 14-year-old and his mother to actually get a hold of somebody at Apple to listen to them.
Yeah, apparently it took a few days.
14.
They're busy. They're busy guys. They're creating amazing products, Tom, to sit on this your desktop to film us with these cameras
to listen in without our consent.
All right. That's valid.
Yep.
So that's what went down.
Yep.
And here's the news that glitch is still out there, but we expect Apple to push a software update down the line to all us eager Apple appliance users. And I encourage, obviously, everybody, when you see that little red light up on your settings, that there's one notification, you need to update your phone or your iOS, wherever it could be, iPad, tablet, watch, you name it.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, they've disabled this feature in the meantime.
You can disable this feature.
Oh, okay. I thought they had. Oh,
no,
okay.
so you can go into general settings, scroll down to FaceTime, and turn that sucker off if you're worried about it.
There you go. All right.
Or you can tune in to listen to Mike in the bathroom and hear all those kersplops.
Yeah. Let's just turn that off.
I think that's a wise choice. It's a
yep.
good, sound, solid decision to be making.
Yep, and it falls in line. It's funny with a 14-year-old kid discovered this. One of the last Apple flaws that happened, if I'm not mistaken, it was Mr. Hacky Hack Hack.
Mr. Clicky McClickety Pants?
Yeah, Hacky Hack Hack was the name of the folder.
I
that
recall
he had.
that, yes.
He was in the Apple headquarters for, I don't know, was it years?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember this, Tom.
Yeah.
Selective amnesia. It's
fantastic how that works.
It's disappearing on me. It's getting old.
But
Tom.
there again, it was another teenager. So, what does that tell us about the Apple users? The majority, I guess,
What kind of conclusions are you trying to draw here, sir?
I'm just saying that the PC is an awesome workplace device.
Is it?
I think so. Well, look, we got the Dell logo here, and it's. I
like how that's so shiny. So that's better. Yeah.
There we go.
It looks great.
Yeah, that's
it's very nice.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Even
There
better.
we go.
That's the way to do
Look,
it.
Tom behind a Mac.
See, now that's the kind of scandalous fake news that Facebook doesn't need, Tom. We're going to get us in trouble here.
You think?
I think. But, and we PC users get into enough trouble. It wasn't just Apple this week.
No, what else happened? Please tell me something happened to a damn PC.
Let me just tell you, the Windows environment really had a huge discovery of massive damage that could have happened.
So massive damage Windows. Okay, got it.
Yep, got it. And yes, again, I'll have to admit this one. So if you're one of your users in your domain,
we'll call him Larry.
There we go. Let's say Larry's workstation's compromised, and I don't mean to call Larry a user. I'm sorry, Larry.
Yeah, Larry. Sorry,
you're the 12-step program.
Yeah, you're not a meth head, Larry. We know that.
It's all about not getting infected. But no, if one of your workstations was compromised, they could reach out to the Exchange server,
right,
and escalate their privileges to be a domain controller. And what that means is basically you've got the keys to the kingdom,
right,
and you could do whatever you want. You could get on any server, delete any data, tie into shared cloud accounts, and do damage there that were saved within the network. So they pushed out that flaw fix came out in November, but it really wasn't noted how bad it was until just last week. So it was a little embarrassing for the Microsoft community.
I would say a philosophical question I would have is why in the hell would you want to be in charge of all those PCs anyway, Tom? I mean, that's like being in charge of a city dump.
You know what? I feel the same way about if you have a whole slew of Apple devices.
Right.
But you know what? Well, we have one common thing that holds us together.
What is the bond? What is the glue? Cisco.
Cisco.
Interesting.
You might say, well, what rabbit hole is T2 going down now?
Well, that was an interesting transition from piece of crap PC over to Cisco.
It's kind of like a magician, Tom.
Yeah.
Ignore what's in this hand. Look over here and see this.
Shiny object.
Yeah, that's right.
So what happened with the Ciscos?
So Cisco, it was released the end of last week. There was a vulnerability which would allow people to access some of the smaller lines of the routers, the RV320, the RV325.
The 325. Yep. That's a fine piece of machinery there.
Well, it is. It certainly is, and it's economical for small business users that are 5 to 20 employees. A lot of people have these devices.
I'm waiting for the 326 myself.
Yeah.
That's a hot model.
I am, but in relation to the BMW, that's the one I want.
It's going to have a power nut scratcher, Tom. That's what I've heard. Yeah, that's the word on the street. Very convenient, very soothing.
Got nothing.
Okay, I'm just saying, feature rich.
Features are important.
Yeah.
Well, one of the features that came on the Cisco RV320 and 325 that people wouldn't want to have is that you could compromise it remotely and then change the password, the root administrator password, and now you have full access to the device. So you could redirect traffic for the organization to your company. You can, and at that point, you could watch everything that's going through. You can watch keystrokes that are going across, bank accounts that are being accessed.
You can sniff packets, Tom. I like saying that.
Yeah, exactly.
A packet sniffer.
Exactly. And if it's coming from the mail sack as it's going through,
it smells funny.
You don't want them sniffing.
No, you do not.
No. See,
you do not.
Things we just don't need to happen. So, So when I read this, I thought, oh, well, that's fantastic because I know at least a half a dozen people who have those devices. So I was reading the security report that came out Sunday talking about the vulnerability that was discovered last Friday. And so it was a race around to get that done. Of course, these things can be fixed remotely, but when you're making changes to a firewall like that, you like to be on site.
You got to be on site, Tom. And you had sent me a lot of amazing text messages lately, all of you being in the closet and then all of a sudden out of the closet, and then back in the closet, and then out of the closet.
Story of my life, Tom. I think half my life has been spent in the closet. When you look back at it, I don't know if that sounded right, but
have you come out of the closet?
Yeah, I did for this podcast. I'm out and proud for this podcast.
That's great.
But I'm sure before the day is out, I'll be back in the closet.
You'll be back in the closet.
It's just the way it goes.
Was Tom Cruise in any of those
Not
closets?
the Tom Cruise type of closet, but more of the IT type of
I'm
closet.
so sorry. We really had to clarify.
Yeah. Well, thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
That. I
I'm
really
here for
appreciate
you,
it.
man.
And not that there's any problem with it.
There's
Mr.
not.
Cruz. That's perfect. We all have our own closets.
Sure.
But no, a lot of time, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to make a montage of all the different closets that I visit
you are
on
a
regular
a
basis.
closet connoisseur, if you will.
I'm a closet visitor.
So you're kind of in the closet about being in closets.
Mind exploded.
But this show really breaks through and breaks down all those boundaries and transcends all of that, Tom.
Yep.
And
kind of like Cisco ties us together.
Yeah.
This show brings everybody together.
yeah, so a curious question I have about the Cisco, since it is connected to so many crappy PCs potentially,
And Mac devices, let's point out.
Mac schmack. Is it possible to self-detonate or annihilate the PCs attached with the click of a button? Is that a feature?
It's not, but certainly it could happen once you've compromised the device. Absolutely.
Or if you get up to the 627 model.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
power
go.
not
See.
scratcher and Dell detonator.
Yeah, well, the big thing is it doesn't matter Mac or PC. If they had compromised the device, that watching all traffic coming through is definitely not a good thing. But, so all that to say, when we look down at the discussion of today,
Right.
we see the Mac issue with the FaceTime. We see
It's a challenge. Let's call it a challenge, Tom. It's a challenge with FaceTime.
always got to paint a rosy picture on it, don't you, Tom?
Maybe.
Yep. Well, we had that. We had the exchange issue, which allowed people to become God mode, if you will, on the network, which is just, an absolute nightmare concept. And then the Cisco vulnerability, which, and by the way, there was a scan done by one of the security companies that they released, and they said how many thousands of these devices are being used in the U.S. right now. So you think, okay, well, if somebody had the time to realize a security vulnerability, run a scan, get the results, determine how many of these devices are in use in the U.S., just think about how quickly the word spreads amongst the nefarious people.
Aha, you worked it in there.
There it is.
Yep.
And once they have this idea in their head, they're going to come after you and look for these vulnerabilities.
Yeah, Mike and Joey in Kershplakistan down there, they're working out of the stable, right?
And Ralph and Louie in their mother's basements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all in it to destroy your PC, Tom, which, it could be a godsend if we're being totally honest. Right? The less PCs we have on the planet.
Destroy your PC, listen to your company secrets from your FaceTime on your Apple device.
It's not really secrets, Tom.
And it's not really in use in the company now that I think about it. It's
Oh,
the
but it
14-year-old
should be.
kids that are using it.
Uh-huh. Wow, well, this is going nowhere. So listen, some recommendations here. Obviously, if you are an iPhone or, as you're about to say, user, if you are a Windows, God forbid, user, and if you ever use that Bing search engine, by the way? Yeah.
Absolutely. With a name like that, how can you not?
Because it's not Google,
That's
Bing.
perfect.
Yeah. So if you're using that garbage, and then if you have a Cisco router or suspect you might have the router, what do you got to do, Tom? There's a common thread here.
There is, and we scream it from the mountaintops often as we can. But updates to firmware, which is the actual hardware, such as the Cisco device, updates to software, such as your Apple iOS or the Microsoft Exchange server.
Garbage.
Absolutely imperative that you keep up to date with your updates. Now, it's not always important that you have the most recent update unless there's a critical vulnerability that's been discovered, such as the ones we're talking about today. Then it's really important you stay on the latest update. But at least stay somewhat current with your updates and create a plan.
So if you're a small business owner and not particularly that tech savvy, it is honestly a little bit tricky to actually do the firmware update on a Cisco router. So my words of encouragement here, if you do have an IT professional like Tom at Advanced System Solutions, please do give him a call, because you can actually nuke all of your settings for your network inadvertently. You never know what's going to happen when you go to reset these things or try to install that firmware, which could leave you pulling your hair out.
And most importantly, if you are going to try it on your own, please, please, please back up your configurations first.
Take screenshots, do what you got to do.
Absolutely.
You
Critical.
get a stenographer in there, one of those courtroom reporters.
Whatever
Yeah,
it takes.
you do it.
If you have to get a concierge service in there to sit there and read it off into a dictaphone.
A dictaphone.
How's that for
Yeah, that
aging
sounds like
myself?
fun. What's a dictaphone, Tom?
You don't remember the old dictaphone from the
Is that
late
by the
70s,
Nutaphone?
early 80s? Yeah, it's down by the it's over there by the mail sack.
It's fun to say. It's fun. Oh, wow. It's fun to say dictaphone.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
We could just work it in a few more times this podcast. That'd be golden.
Oh, look, we're getting a phone call on the dictaphone.
So, but no, again, no matter what your method is, I mean, some people take their cell phone out and they take pictures of all the settings
config.
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you can back up the configuration on these devices, such as the Cisco firewalls, and it's really important that you have a good backup of your data before you go. Well, all the time, really. So.
Well, that's some very, very sound wisdom, Tom. It's not, it sounds like this is not your first rodeo, my friend.
It's not. We're over a dozen now, rodeos, and been bucked off a couple times. We're still holding on.
Yeah.
Still climbing back on that bull and going along for the ride.
Sometimes you just got to hold that bull by the sack, Tom.
Or the horns, one of the two, depending on where you're located.
That's
Depending
right.
if you're riding the bull or if the bull's riding you.
Yeah, you don't want to be ridden by the bull, I don't think.
No, not a good experience.
Speaking of sacks, Tom.
Yeah, is it that time?
I think it could be time.
Yeah, and who are we hearing from today?
Let's dig into that mail sack,
All
Tom.
right,
So we're gonna dig in. We're gonna slide some things around in that sack. I want to make sure I pull out the most relevant letter out of the mail sack and get that PC out of the way. So, as we dig into our mail sack, we've got a question. This is Joe. Joe, where are you? Joe's in Grand Rapids. He's freezing his, what's up.
75% of the country is freezing their mail sacks or frozen.
Right next to their dictaphone, am I right?
That's what I hear.
So that polar vortex, you don't want that by the dictaphone or the mail sack.
No, because then you'll end up with a bunch of little polar vortexes and little dictaphones running around. And It just gets tricky to keep all the updates happening at the same time.
Yeah, it's a little chilly. Got to come inside and stay warm. Am I right?
Ladies and gentlemen, if the kids are in the car, you may want to just turn it down during the mail sack segment going forward. Let's just put that out there now.
It's our official T-Squared Tech Talk podcast disclaimer. The mail sack may not be suitable for all ages.
That's right. So what does Joe bring us from Grand Rapids, other than cold weather?
So Joe says, every time I wake up and look at my iPhone, you're a wise man, by the way, Joe, for having an iPhone and not going to the dark side.
We all have our faults.
Joe, don't listen to him, Joe. But a wonderful device you have control of, sir. But his question is, every time I wake up on my software updates on my iPhone, there's about 8 or 9 of them all the time.
Yep.
Why are there constantly updates for the software, and should I install them?
And your take, Tom?
Joe, listen, it's like this, my friend. I update every damn one of those every morning.
I'm there with you.
And there could be very good reason why there's always updates being pushed. One new software program, for example, if you download it to your phone, all the other ones are like, oh, we're not compatible anymore, so they're out looking for updates. So it can be an update-orama. But I got to tell you, keeping your phone with those updates installed at least should give you a bit more peace of mind to know that you've got the latest software and that these crooks in Kursplakistan and in grandma's basement with their wife beaters and their pizza boxes aren't getting into your iPhone. Now, they can hear you through the FaceTime Live, don't get me wrong.
But the third-party apps are at least secure at that point.
Yeah, that's what we're going for, Joe.
Yeah, there we go. Well, and I'm the same way, Tom. I've got mine set to work over Wi-Fi at a certain time in the middle of the night to make sure that I've got those latest updates down. But you know who has a problem with that?
Who's that?
The in-laws.
Damn it.
Yep. It's been a long time since we heard from them, but I heard from them this last week.
How are they?
Tom?
Yeah, here we go.
Why did the update make my calculator bigger? And it takes up the whole screen, and I've got a problem with it. It's just, look, you can resize. We can change things back to how you like them. We can change the settings back, but what's important is that we stay up to date.
And that they drink their Metamucil.
Very important.
Yes.
Yes. So, but no, I'm of the same mindset, Joe, that running these updates, every time we hear, well, with the exception of this week when all the three big names got hit. Usually when we're hearing about security flaws, it's due to some third-party software that was involved. Speaking of which, Apple is clamping down again on Facebook.
I heard that, Tom.
Yeah. So, and it's the same type of thing. It's a third-party app that was abusing the rules on the Apple network. And,
That's right. You don't mess with Apple.
No, well, Zuckerberg won't ever learn, will he?
Apparently not. So that was an interesting story. And Joe, hold on to your dictaphone and keep it warm, man. It's cold up there, and we're thinking about you here in 72-degree Florida.
76, Tom.
76 today. It's a nice day. I'm not going to lie.
Yep. Nope. That's why we're here.
But where was I going with that?
Where you were going was with the whole updates and the third-party software, Apple clamping down on Facebook.
Yeah, so Facebook had their whole team on the inside of Facebook got locked out. This is hilarious to me. They were screwing around with, was it ads or something that they were doing? And violating the terms of use basically on Apple products or third party.
Yep, that was
so
it.
Apple's like, you know what, sorry, and shut them all out of it. And I think that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, could you imagine the surprise going through the department? Hey, can you get in?
Yeah, no, I can't get in. Why is my calculator bigger?
Yeah, exactly.
And my calculator's bigger than yours now.
Yeah, that's often the argument in IT, but that's for another podcast.
It is, another day.
The important thing is that, yes, it boils down to third-party apps on these devices and how they need to stay up to date. So Joe, there's your long-winded answer.
Yeah, Joe, we're just glad you hung out with us today.
Absolutely, as with everybody. And yeah, keep those updates a rolling.
Yeah, and Apple users, this is merely these things happen. This is a minor hiccup. All right, we're going to be okay. Now, PC-wise, y'all are pretty much screwed. So, but Apple's on it. They will save the day.
Yeah, well, Microsoft as well. They came out with that patch in November. So I was looking at the Exchange versions that were affected and speaking with some of the people down at the conference, and they said, "Well, I updated 2 weeks ago." You're fine.
Yeah.
As long as you're staying current
until tonight.
A lot of these things exactly. Yeah. But then you know what? Tomorrow's a better day. Another day, another security update.
Another hit from Chris Blackistan.
That's right. Well, we got to do everything we can to keep up with the nefarious characters out there.
Damn right, Tom. And where can folks find out more about you and how you keep nefarious characters out of networks?
They should check out advancedsystemssolutions.com and read our blog post there for some great ideas and links to the T2 Tech Talk podcast.
That's right. And you've been cranking out some amazing content about ADA compliance for websites. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
You're helping like the servant that you are, you're helping all of the people afflicted with the responsibility of having a PC. You're helping to keep them safe. And I think that's a beautiful mission.
And you know who helps me to help them, Tom?
Tell me, Tom.
On Target.
Oh, shucks.
You
did it.
Yeah, it's and where can they find out more about how you can help people to bring the message to the internet and be found?
So you can go to ontargetdigitalmarketing.com, Tom, and listen, a great show today.
Fantastic.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for Ian being our one and only viewer on our Facebook Live today. We're really grateful you are here. Stick around. There's going to be a lot more amazing content out of the T-Squared Tech Talk podcast. And I showed Tom a little bit of a tease before the show.
Yeah, we got some good things coming.
We
do.
Good
things coming.
We
some
do.
Big announcements to come out soon.
Good stuff. And thank you all for listening. Joe, you keep your dictaphone warm. We'll talk to you all real soon.
Take care.
This podcast was recorded at the On Target Podcasting Studio.